Jay said is he goes, I've never been on a set where the cast all can sing. I mean, not just sing, buddy, like fucking sing. I'm Joe Coyne, you're watching Character Media. Shout out to Ken Chang writing the first script, first draft, and then of course, Jay and Katie, they knocked it out the box with, their drafts after that.
Ken wrote a great script that famously got greenlit by Steven Spielberg on the first draft. It's crazy.
First thing we did was we made the movie work from a narrative standpoint and from a comedic standpoint, and then got the script into a certain place, and then we said to Joe, okay, this thing is probably gonna work now. Let's weave in all the things that you want to weave in. And then we had to sort of figure out a way to try to stitch them into the movie in a way that felt like they had to be there.
I had to insert those stories, you know what I mean? So when you see the stuff like the Balakbayan box, the Santa Nino, and the food on the table, and the karaoke, and just all those little things like that meant so much. As small as it is, it brings the family together.
Joe wanted to make a movie like Fridays, which took place over, I think, 1 or 2 days. And so that was our initial target. Personally, I directed a lot of the early season of Arrested Development, and I worked quite a bit on the Goldbergs. And those both are kind of weird families with some domineering mothers and funny other characters. And so we tried to do something in those kind of worlds. Because of the films I've made and because I'm also a stand-up, I felt like we had kind of an overlapping sensibility.
It was cool to make a suggestion and help write. Jay was so open to any idea, and it usually ended up with going, yeah, buddy, I like that. I'll do it. All right. My favorite thing that Jay said is he goes, I've never been on a set where the cast all can sing. I mean, not just sing, buddy, fucking sing.
Some of the slang, I didn't know what it meant exactly. I just wanted to make sure I knew what the intent was. And so there were enough people that I trusted around between Lydia and Tia and Joe and Lou and Eugene. I would sit there and I'm like, does it mean this? Is that insulting enough? And then they would kind of go around and they go, actually, you should say this. What does that mean? Kind of, oh, hurry up, slowpoke. I'm like, okay, great, that's good.
I was blessed with such incredible actors. Lydia Gaston as my mom, phenomenal. I had to step it up. She's so good. And then Lydia not only did a great version of my mom, but a better version. Her creative process is beautiful. One direction from Jay, and then all of a sudden she'd come back and just give him 10 times better what he asked. Tiffany Haddish, she came on the scene, and being able to ad-lib and just work my chops with her, and she's just an old friend, you know what I mean? So literally that scene was just us just playing around, and we were on the page, but the stuff that made it in the movie, ad-libs.
I mean, she was very, very generous to us to let us have her face in this movie because she had to quarantine for 2 weeks to be in it. And it was 14 days of quarantine for 2 days of shooting. No major stars do that. She did that for us. It will be something that I will always remember.
Yeah, there was a ton of improving, and Joe's so funny. So of course we're gonna come up with some fun stuff on the day. And Jay, the director, let us, improvise. So that was a lot of fun, a lot of joy on set, and that was the very first day of shoot. So it was cool that we're able to do that, a really fun scene to kind of set the tone, because sometimes you don't want to start with a scene where you're crying. You want to roll into that, make sure you're just having fun, everybody get to know each other, feel each other out.
It's similar, right? The Filipinos came in the 70s and the Indians came in the late 60s and the 70s. And so the two cultures are connected even though nobody really talks about it. And the food has got a certain type of spice that is related, not the same, but What I found was that the Filipinos some of the men were a little macho, which I found really funny because it was sort of like the Indian guys when when Smokey and the Bandit came out, all of my uncles grew Burt Reynolds mustaches. And I'm like, that sort of reminds me of, Rodney Toe with all his knives and his,
And he's not afraid to get real specific, and that's the same thing with this film. You learn a lot about Filipino culture that you never knew about, but in the process of learning, you're also laughing. And you're like, damn, okay, maybe our family don't have that box, but we have those arguments and we have those characters that's like that. And I think that's why his comedy is so funny and also so universal.
And it's not all Filipino families, but it's mostly all of the Filipinos, you know what I mean? So that was the specific part of the story that we wanted the world to know about. But overall, I just wanted people to know that we're just a family like yours.